Hello, my Jason. What's my manga review for Volume 10 of Sousei no Onmyouji or Twin Star Exorcists? And so for this volume, it is the first volume for the Tsuchimikado Island arc. And so next adventures for here on out will be in Tsuchimikado Island, involving Rokuro and Mayura as well on their travels and Rokuro's journey to train hard in order to become strong enough to take on Yuto. He comes through many obstacles. We meet many of the other heavenly commanders of the whole Exorcist Union as well, learning more about the intricacies behind all that as well, and learning that Rokuro is out of his league, and lots of other big story elements to come as well here in this volume. And so lots of jam-packed information here in this volume. Unfortunately, Benio does take a back seat a bit. I think we'll be getting some more minor things from her, but definitely a lot more of Rokuro and his journey in Tsuchimikado Island, or Mayura's journey as well, coming into her own and realizing her destiny, taking over her father's spot in her clan. But Volume 10 starts off with Rokuro and Mayura making their way to Tsuchimikado Island. Rokuro, he has to meet with the Exorcist HQ and all the other 12 families, and he is told that he must join one of these 12 families in order to take on Yuto because of their source system, how all that works. Tenma, he meets him, Unomiya Tenma, one of the strongest exorcists of the heavenly commanders, and probably one of the strongest exorcists that they have on the island. Lots of other things with Sousei, the Sousei house, disrespecting Benio's house, talking about how the Adashino family has been disrespected and it's pretty much fallen to the ground because of Yuto. And Benio, of course, Rokuro's having a strong connection to Benio, has a very comedic reaction to that. He kind of holds the guy's nose, and then Sousei, one of the heavenly commanders, she, it plays in two ways. That her aid was pretty disrespectful, but you should still know your respect as well. And so, a very interesting line they play there until we have Tenma, who suggests that Rokuro get a taste of how the action is on the island compared to what he is used to. What he's used to is not compared to what is going on in the island. With the Magano fights, you have all the other houses that were introduced to. The Uji house that takes care of the border, led by Kengo, and they also have the Ori house, who are filled with strong fighters. They have a big rallying cry behind them. Shizuru is highlighted in that clan, along with the leader of the house as well, Yori. Basically lots of tsundere sort of things with Shizuru, and she gets spanked for it, and so that was really highlighted there as a very strange moment in that panel. You also have Kasukami Cordelia as well, a big AI robot fighter. You've already been introduced to these characters if you watch the anime, but these are our first introductions to them in the manga, so we're getting much different reactions towards the other members of the 12 families of the heavenly commanders. And so very interesting first introduction to these characters before we move on into the Rigano fights, where Rokuro and Mayura cannot handle the pressure of Magano, because I guess there's different pressures, different levels of Magano. The deeper you go, the stronger the Basara will be, and the stronger the pressure will be. They cannot handle all of that, and the miasma is getting towards Rokuro, but still Rokuro saves Shizuru, so I don't really like that there as well. It kind of shows more of the machismo sort of thing, and I kind of demean Shizuru a bit as well, so I was a really big fan of that moment there. But still badass battle between Iori and Cordelia, especially Cordelia, sort of Gundam mecha sort of thing that she turns into. Very badass battle there in Magano, along with Tenma, who shows himself as a strong fighter as well, just screaming at the Kegri, and that's all he tried to do, just scream at them in order to be effective as a fighter. And so we move on to the next portion of the Volume 10, where we have Tenma entering Rokuro's mind in the hospital, where he gives him this sort of history lesson. Big exposition moments, but it's still a very important one because it answers questions that aren't really asked. What is Magano? Why are the Exorcists fighting the Kegiri? What is the Exorcist's true mission in all this fighting? And with all these questions being asked, we move on to a vision 1,000 years in the past in Kyoto between a big battle between the King of Impurities versus Abe no Seimei, who is actually a woman. And so the anime introduces Abe no Seimei near the last season as a man, and that's all he is. There's no secret behind that. The secret in the manga is that the manly figure of Abe no Seimei is more of a figurehead for the actual Abe no Seimei, who's actually just a little girl, and she is the one fighting the King of Impurities, and Magano was created to seal off the King of Impurities by Abe no Seimei. Seimei and her Shikigami, they go to Magano in order to destroy the King of Impurities. However, she is unsuccessful in doing that, and basically creates a barrier around her and the King of Impurities to seal both of them off in Magano. And so the whole mission of Tsuchimikado Island and its creation is to rescue Abe no Seimei from the King of Impurities. What Yuto's plan is, we have no idea, and that's the whole sort of thing that's in the back of the mind. What Yuto's plan is he trying to free the King of Impurities? Is he trying to steal their powers? Obviously in the anime he tries to steal Abe no Seimei's powers, and you have all that other stuff there. And what that is related to, we're not really sure, for Yuto's plan at least, in the manga, but still that's the whole big question, that's the whole mission for the Exorcists on the islands, because the island is created around where Abe no Seimei is sealed off. And so Rokuro, in response to this, he cries a bit and says, Mom. And so that implies a lot of things, that maybe he is the son of Abe no Seimei, and so that's a lot of questions there. It explains a lot of his visions as well of why Abe no Seimei is helping Rokuro. Perhaps she is helping her son, and so lots of other questions that are left unanswered, but still it answers a lot of, it gives this whole ultimate goal that is to come probably for the end of Twin Star Exorcists. When that is going to come, we have no idea. It depends on the mangaka when he wants to end the series, but definitely that is the ultimate goal there, to save Abe no Seimei from the King of Impurities. And then volume 10 ends with Yuzuru sort of capturing Mayura, so kidnapping her, but she does just take her to the family home in order to have Mayura be the next head. And so that's really Mayura's destiny and what she has to sort of come to terms with, being the new head of the home, with her father being incapacitated, while Rokuro heads over to the Dashino house, which has a bad reputation, and along there is Kinako, our first introduction to Kinako. And so definitely this is the mangaka Yoshiaki Sukeno implementing things from the anime into the manga, so that's a very interesting and fun thing added on. And so eventually, Rokuro saves Kinako, and he dubs the house that was the Dashino house as the Enmado house, because instead of entering one of the 12 families, because Shimon does offer Rokuro an opportunity to enter his own family home as well, along with his father and his brother. They're step siblings, because he was like adopted or something like that. He was like taken in by the house, and so Sayo is the true heir to the family, and it is Shimon's job to protect her. And it's pretty funny with his dynamic between his dad and brother, because he calls him by his actual name, and they want him to call like, oh, you're supposed to call me dad. They get yell at him, you're supposed to call me Nissan. And so it's very funny things. You're supposed to call me brother, because the dad wants to be called dad, and the brother wants to be called brother by Shimon. So it's a very interesting dynamic between it's very socially awkward Shimon compared to the rest of the family as well. But however, Rokuro chooses not to enter Shimon's family home along with Sayo as well, and instead dubbing the Dashino house the Enmado house. I didn't really like this, mostly because I think it would have been cool if Rokuro took on Benio's name, how he call himself Dashino Rokuro. I think that would have been a very cool thing, very progressive thing as well, a man taking on the last name of his wife, and they didn't really choose that. They just kept it the Enmado house along with Kinako as well. So it's really disappointing there, because I thought it would have been cool to have Rokuro take on the last name of Benio. They didn't really do that, and so it's really disappointing for me. We also have the ending, volume 10, where we have an update on Benio, what she's doing. She's just walking around, determined to get her powers back until she is transported to Magano. She obviously can't do anything because she doesn't have any powers. So Kamui steps in to save her, very disgusted as well at the state that Benio's in compared to their last time that they met, when she was at her most powerful states, and obviously wants to challenge, wants to fight, and so he's disappointed at the state that Benio's in right now. So that's pretty much where volume 10 ends. And like I said before, lots of expositionary, lots of information dump onto you, and this important information was very important. And we also have some great action scenes with the Magano fight, update on Benio as well. That's nice, having her dynamic Kamui being developed even more. That's really interesting. Like I said before, it would have been really cool if Rokuro took on Benio's last name, calling it the Adashino House again, and having Rokuro call himself Rokuro Adashino. I think that would be really cool, would be progressive as well, but they didn't really choose that route there, and so that's really disappointing. But for all that being said, I'm gonna give a final grade for volume 10 of Twin Star Exorcists a B-, because of like I said before, the action was really great getting the culture of the Exorcist on Tsuchimikado Island and getting all this information up on the history of Tsuchimikado Island and the big ultimate goal with the King of Impurities versus Abe no Seimei, and possibly Rokuro being the son of Abe no Seimei as well. So that's all really interesting stuff for this big information dump, and we're seeing developments of our characters in Mayura and Benio as well, the supporting characters, where their stories might go in the future. And so what are your thoughts on Volume 10 of Twin Star Exorcists? What are your thoughts in the comment section down below? Also make sure to rate this video and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Thank you for watching my manga review for Volume 10 of Sousei no Onmyouji. Have a nice day. Bye bye.